everyone to the Anything Vlog, where I vlog about everything and anything. As you can probably tell from the beginning of the video, I have all my guns laid out on the table. I decided to bring them on over to my son's house so I could do this video uninterrupted. This video is going to be titled Home Protection. What firearm is good for home protection? The reason I'm doing this video is I had a couple comments when I did my GSG5 video and my SKS video on home protection, and is it good for home protection. So I thought what I'd do is bring all my guns and let's discuss what you should have and what you should get for home protection. First off, let's talk about what home protection is. For everybody, it's different. For some people, you can use certain weapons, and for other people, you use different weapons. You have kids, you don't have kids, you have a wife, you don't have a wife, whatever it may be. I live in California, and in California, the law basically states that you can use a firearm if somebody's breaking into your house to protect you or someone else. If you have a fear for your life or somebody else's, you can use deadly force to stop the threat. But once that threat is stopped or neutralized, whether they leave or they're dead, you can no longer, obviously they're dead, it doesn't matter, but if they start running away, you cannot chase them and shoot them in the back, can't chase them down the street. If that threat leaves or the threat is gone, you can no longer use deadly force. That is the way it is in California, and you cannot be using that for property, to protect your car or something. It doesn't work that way. As far as Texas, where I was before, a few weeks ago, I'm not really sure. The laws are different. I know they have better laws as far as guns go. Not that shooting someone in the back makes it a better law, but they have different laws. So I can only speak about California. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to discuss what you should have for home protection and what exactly that entails. First off, you should think about the surroundings. That's the first thing. You're living in a rural area, you're living in a housing complex, you're living in an apartment, where are you at? Second is you need to decide who's going to use the weapon. It's going to be for you, it's going to be for your wife, it's going to be for your kids, it's going to be your family. Who's going to be using the weapon? What is the primary person that's going to be using that weapon? Thirdly, you want to consider the type of weapon, either an automatic, revolver, or shotgun, or a rifle. And that all is going to determine, all those things put together is going to determine what you get. Okay, and caliber as well. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from left to right and point out what I have on the table. We'll start with that. This is an SKS. It's chambered at 7.62 by 39 millimeter. This is a Marlin 336, chambered in 30-30, lever action. This is semi-automatic, the SKS, by the way. Semi-automatic, 22 long rifle, GSG5. Single action, 22 revolver, Golden Weston. This is a Speed 6 357 Magnum Ruger, double action revolver. This is a Security 6 357 Magnum Ruger revolver, 4-inch barrel, 2-inch barrel. This is a Mossberg 500 12-gauge pump shotgun. And last but not least, this is a 7.62 by 54R rimmed round Mosin Nagant bolt action rifle. All these weapons are, they're all secure, there's no ammo in them, they've all been safety checked. Okay, that is what I have on the table. Now let's discuss home protection. As I was saying earlier, home protection just doesn't mean grabbing a gun and shooting. You have to consider all the variables. Now, if you are going to buy this for your wife or your child, you shouldn't, in my opinion, be using a large caliber rifle or something long where they can't wield around, because it's just dangerous, hard to use, and it can have over penetration. That is a really important thing when you have home protection, when you live in this type of community for sure, is over penetration. Basically what that means is where the bullet is going to go after it hits or misses that person. You hit the person and it goes through them, it goes through 6 walls, it's not a good thing. You miss them, it goes through 6 walls, not a good thing. This SKS, as I said, is chambered in 7.62 by 39, is a military type rifle. This is a wicked weapon. It's a great weapon. Can you use it for home protection? Yes. Should you? No. Not in my opinion. It is big, It's hard to move around doors and windows, walls, smaller areas, and it's going to have over penetration big time. This is too, you don't need a weapon this big, it's too much. Second, what about this? 30-30 lever action. It's nice and small, not too big, you can move it around. It's got good capacity, this one. You know, you have like, I think it's 8 rounds in this. I'm not 100% sure on that. But should you use this? No, in my opinion you shouldn't. If you use this, once again, over penetration at 30-30 round is very powerful. What about this one here? 10 rounds. Almost everything on the table is either 10 rounds or 6. This is 10 rounds. 22 long rifle. It's nice and small, compact. You can move around fine. It's great. You can move around. 22 long rifle. Should you use this one? If this is all you have, absolutely. Should it be your primary? In my opinion, no. We'll get back to all of this. I just want to run through all the weapons individually first. 22, single action revolver. Should you use this as your primary weapon? Like I said, once again, if any of these weapons are the only thing you have, absolutely. You could use them. But if they're going to be your choice, that's what we're talking about. So should you choose this for your home protection? Well, your kids and your wife could use it, or someone smaller. Yeah, it doesn't have recoil, but it's just 6 rounds at single action and reloading, which we'll talk about next. Should you? In my opinion, no, this is not the ideal weapon. And that's what we're talking about, is ideal, not that you can't use these. What about a revolver? This type of revolver. Double action, you just pull the hammer, pull the trigger, and the hammer goes back and forth. 357 Magnum, powerful, 6 rounds. Should you? Great weapon. Should this be your main weapon? Probably not. Same deal here, it's just longer barrel. So again, you can move around. Like I said, I'm just going through these real quick and then we'll get back. 12 gauge shotgun, powerful, not too big, should you use it? Great weapon. Most people use this. I love this. This is a superb weapon right here. This is it's a 12 gauge. What about this one? Goes in a gun. Big old bullet. Big old gun. No. You should not use this home protection. If this is the only thing you have, once again, yes, but should you choose this for home protection? No, I don't. In my opinion, absolutely not. Too powerful, penetration, too big. All right, now, let's get back to breaking everything down, now that we know what's here. You want to try, when you get a gun for home protection, is consider who's using it, as I said earlier. So you want to get a gun that your children can handle if they're going to be using it, your wife can handle if she's going to be using it, and obviously you can handle it. You want to get a gun that is not too big, you want to get a gun that's not too powerful, but powerful enough. And you want to get a gun that has enough rounds. If somebody breaks into your house, is it going to be one person? No. More or less likely it's going to be more than one. They don't do that. They're coming in groups. So you need to have a weapon that has enough firepower. This GSG, for example, has 10 rounds, and you have detachable mags so you can load more. So this is a great weapon because you can get a lot of rounds down target. You're not going to have over penetration problem because it's 22. And it's small. You can move it around. But the fact that it's a 22 and the penetration is not that good is that you will have to use more rounds generally to stop that threat. And when you run out of rounds, are you going to be able to reload fluidly, or whoever's using it, without making mistakes because you're going to be under pressure you've never been under before. That's another thing to consider, is how you're going to react. Are you going to be able to handle it? Okay? So then, if you go to something like a revolver, for example. Revolvers are great. Got 6 rounds. Easier to reload, pretty quick to reload with the quick reloader, you know, and they're really good to go. Can't think of the name of the quick reloader. A speed loader, that's it. Get a speed loader in there, yeah, you're good to go, but you have only 6 rounds. And you might say 6 rounds is more than enough. So if I pull out and shoot, he's going to be gone. What if he doesn't go? What if you miss? What if you use all 6 rounds? You're going to be able to reload this quick on the stress? So you have to consider that. And then once again, have you ever fired a gun indoors? Do you have any idea how loud it is when you fire a gun indoors? Are you going to be able to handle that? Your ears are going to be ringing. His ears are going to be ringing. So that's something you have to consider too. You need to train with these weapons. So one thing you might consider is having some ear protection near where your gun is. if you can get to them, great. If you can't, at least you have it there. And if you can get to the rest of the digital ones or the electric ones, where as soon as you shoot, it deafens and then goes back, you'll have that distinct advantage. So that's another thing to consider, is maybe getting some of those as well. The revolvers are great. I don't have an automatic here, either a Glock or anything like that, because I don't own one. But that is really a great weapon, because you can get a 9mm, so it's powerful, but not too powerful. You can get a 40, which is powerful. You can even go with the 45. But a Glock is a great weapon. In California, unfortunately, no matter what, you only can get 10 rounds max. You're looking at 11 no matter what you do, it's 11. So if you're basing it off, I want to get as much ammo as I can in one gun at a time. In California, you're going to get 11 max. So that's all you can get here. Other states, you can just make it on that. But the more ammunition you have, the more you have in the gun, the better chance you're going to have. Less reloading. But no matter what, you need to train, and train with that. You need to practice pressing out. You need to practice with every one of these firearms. Practice that scenario as close as you can. So if it happens, you're ready to go. You have to practice it. Okay? So, in my opinion, revolver is great. Like I said, revolver is really a secondary. You want to try to get an automatic, either 9mm or 40, with as many rounds as you can. Like I said, in California, it's 11. That's your ultimate if you're going to have your wife or your child use it. Or, in my opinion, is a shotgun. This is my go-to. This is what I think is the best home protection. It's a 12-gauge shotgun. They hear that sound and they're more or less running. If they're not, they're going to be leaving it in the bag. They're not going to be walking out. This is what I think is the best home protection. Now, let me make it clear that if you're going to have your wife or your child or somebody else using it, then I don't need to train, but I would suggest getting a 20-gauge. A 20-gauge is not going to overpenetrate. It's going to have more than enough to stop them. They're going to be more than capable of handling it. It is a great weapon. 12-gauge for me, or if there's going to be somebody adult using it, but if you're going to have your wife or somebody else with the possibility of needing to use it, I would suggest a 20-gauge pump shotgun is the go-to home protection. That is my number one. This is my 12-gauge, obviously, and this is my go-to. This is number one, my main. If I have to have a secondary, I'm going to go with my revolver. Like 6 rounds, 357 Magnum, good stopping power, maneuverability. Not too much over penetration, depends on what you put in. You still have to be careful of that, because this can do a lot of damage. But this is my secondary. Now I have 2 of them. I could have 12 rounds or speed load quick, doesn't matter. This is my secondary, in my opinion. My third would be my 22 GSG, because of the fact that it has 10 round mags, which I could have a whole bunch loaded, and I could put a lot of rounds down range quickly. Over penetration is not going to be a problem. So this is my third one that I would go to. That's in my opinion. Now, out of all the ones I have on the table, the worst one I would never want to use, unless it's the only one I have, the last one I would use is a Mosin. Over penetration big time, too big, too long, too powerful, unnecessary. 10 rounds. Like I said, all these are basically 10 rounds. So as far as I'm concerned, as far as I'm speaking, the rounds are not going to exceed 11 because it's California. So as far as that goes, that's where we're set on that. The very next one I wouldn't want to use, second least I'd want to use is my SKS. Powerful round. Put a lot of rounds down range. Over penetration. Too big. Bulky. Unnecessary. Now I'm strictly speaking from my area where I live and what I'm doing. Now if I'm in a rural area, a whole other deal. Okay, this is my 30-30 Winchester, I'm sorry, 30-30 Marlin, 336. This is the one I would use. I'm going from worst to best. This is the next one. Over penetration, the length is good. Over penetration is the main issue with this one. Then we're going to go 22 single action. Yes, it's the same caliber as this 122, but it's single action. You only get 6, and reloading this single action and using that rod, unload, it's just too time consuming. It's just not ideal. It's all you have, obviously. Then we'll go with, I would say, my 22. As I said earlier, can put a lot of rounds down range, but it doesn't have a lot of power. And obviously, revolvers, to me, is secondary, great. Plenty of penetration, 6 rounds only. You can load it quick, but it's only 6 rounds. Not everybody can use these. Shotgun is number one, once again. 12 gauge for your kids or your wife, this is just 20 gauge. Number one. They hear that sound, most of the time you ain't gonna have to shoot. Everybody can handle these, pretty simple. They're in a rack, forward, point, shoot. Put low velocity rounds in there, not gonna have to worry about over penetration. You got plenty of shots and easy to manipulate, and you're good to go. So that's the way I look at it. Hopefully that answered your questions. Hopefully that gave you some kind of idea what my opinion is on it. I am a gunsmith, so I do know what I'm talking about. I've worked on all these weapons. I've shot plenty of automatics, even though I don't have any here, so I can speak on them because I have used them. But the key is your area, who's going to use it, and training. You need to train with these weapons. You need to be familiar with the weapon you're going to use. You just need to train. You need to practice pressing out. You need to practice. If you want to feel like an idiot walking around your house or whatever, that's what it takes. You need to practice with these weapons. You need to train. You need to teach whoever's going to use it how to use it and use it properly. All right, guys. So hopefully that helps you. Hopefully that answers the questions that some of the other guys had about which is home protection, which is good for home protection. Like I said, there's a lot of variables in there, and you'd have to keep a lot of things in mind. Okay, guys, that's going to do it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Well, I'll be somewhere else doing something else. Bye.